guys, so I realised it's been a super long while since I filmed a video, but this is sort of a spur of the moment video. It's not like anything like my usual videos were, but I thought I'd do something a bit different. I will catch you guys up on like sort of last year of my life in a video next week, but for now I'll just film this. So I've just come back from cheering, well, coaching cheer, so I'm still in my sportswear. So this is a bit of an odd topic to be talking about, but it's sort of relevant at the moment for me in my life. So sort of in the past month, two of my really close friends have lost people in their lives, like due to illness or other circumstances. So yeah, I thought I'd talk about my experience with a close one passing away and just sort of how I've dealt with it, because a lot of people do ask me this. So for those of you that don't know, my mum actually passed away 3 years ago today. It was one of the roughest times of my life. Like, I won't like try and sugarcoat it, but I'm like a firm believer that it's really changed me for the better, and I always try and like put a positive sort of outlook on how that situation sort of changed me, and that's how I find it quite easy to talk about, because I think of all the sort of good that's come from a dark situation. So I'll just sort of explain sort of how she got ill and how she passed away, and then I'll sort of talk about how it sort of changed me and like some tips and stuff for anyone who may be grieving. Obviously I'm not like a therapist or anything, but these are just things that helped me, and who knows, they might help you too. So in my A2 year, so I was in year 13, so I was 17, my mum was like a bit ill, you know, just throwing up. Didn't think of anything serious, went to the doctors, they like referred her on to specialists and whatnot, but in the January of 2014 she fell really ill, so me and my sister took her into A&E. So she's in A&E, not in A&E, in hospital for about a week whilst they were running tests to sort of see what was wrong with her. So we thought nothing of it. Like, my mum was a very get up and go, very active woman, no bullshit woman. So yeah, so she was fine while she was in hospital, you know, just chilling, cracking her usual jokes as she did, making sure we went to school, because that was like a big thing for her, like making sure we really did good in our education. And then I remember it was on my sister's birthday when I got a call from my sister saying that my mum had cancer and it was terminal, and that they didn't think she'd actually last through that night. And my mum had actually found out on the Wednesday that she was terminally ill, but she wanted us to like see out our week in school, so it wouldn't like affect our schoolwork and stuff, and wait until like the weekend to tell us. And I remember I actually had a cheer competition the day after we found that she was terminally ill, and she like forced me to go to the competition and like compete and like just do great, as she was always. So yeah, we sort of found out, and they didn't think she'd last throughout that night, but my mum actually lasted 2 weeks after that. So after us finding out that she was terminal. So that was quite good in the sense that obviously all of our family from abroad got to fly in and see her before she passed away. But also quite strange, like I can't actually remember those 2 weeks that clearly, because I was still going to school. As I said, I was doing my AT, so it was just a strange time, like going from school to the hospital all in my 3 periods and back and forth and whatnot, and like thinking it was sort of like a dream. I don't know, it's really weird to get my head around it, but it kind of felt like I was living in the dream, because like it was weird. Like, my mum was fine to like in a hospital bed, like attached to drips and stuff in the space of 3 weeks. It was like insane, like yeah. So I remember the day we actually found that she passed away, I was in Epping Forest that week on like field trips doing my biology A2 coursework, and I remember like showering to get ready to go to Epping Forest, and my sister coming into the bathroom and me just looking at her and saying, "It's happened, hasn't it?" And she was like, "Yeah," because obviously we were expecting it, but I just sort of knew from the facial expression she had on that it had happened. And yeah, that whole day I felt like a ghost walking around, because I'm not the sort of person that likes to sort of burden other people with my problems. And I remember I didn't actually tell anyone. I texted like my school, my tutor, like the relevant people that needed to know, but I didn't like go into school and be like, "Oh, my mum's passed away." I like went into like our field trip, fine, did my like experiments, got on with it, blah blah whatever, and then went to school the next day as normal. And then all my teachers were like, why on earth are you and your brothers in school, like, are you okay, blah blah. And that's when someone else used to bring it up, that's when I'd remember. And that's when it would like not hurt the most, but I'd be like, okay, shit, my mum's not here anymore. So me and my mum were like that, so it was just weird. But obviously, because she found out she was terminal, she had like a chance to like chat to all of me and my siblings individually and all the family and sort of talk us around it. And I remember like being in the hospital, like crying my eyes out, and my mum being like, why are you all crying? I'm the one in the hospital bed dying. Like, I don't want you guys to use this as not an excuse as such, but she didn't want it to like really bring us down. She wanted us to carry on the path that she had put us on, the path she brought us up to continue on and like do really well in everything that we did. And like really, I don't know, just like she gave us like a proper motivational speech, like a proper mum's motivational speech. And in a way, like her giving us all those sort of talks and stuff as she was like getting worse and worse really helped with coping with it afterwards. So I did all my exams, you know, good, blah blah, etc. But after my mum passed away, I actually decided to take a gap year. So I documented some of that on this channel. So I travelled a bit, worked full time, did a lot of volunteering work. And honestly, deciding to take a gap year is one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Like, even though I am only 20, but it was one of the best decisions ever. So I met some great people. I really had a chance to like get out of my comfort zone. I really think like my confidence boosted like times 1,000 during my gap year. Like the stuff I got to see, and like even the university I'm at now, I don't think I would be here if I didn't take my gap year and sort of reevaluate what I wanted to do and what course I wanted to do, and you know, that sort of thing. And I'm so happy I took the gap year. So that's a good thing that came from that whole situation. So yeah, sort of coping mechanisms. So loads of my friends like don't actually realise that my mum has passed away because I talk about her so casually. And that's something I would say definitely comes with time. Like, it gets easier over time. As I said, it's been 3 years since she passed away. And, like, at first, it is quite hard to talk about, but I'm always open to talking to people about it because it obviously opens people's eyes to, like, what it's actually like to lose someone that close to you at such a young age as well. Because obviously I was 17 when she passed away, but my youngest brother was only 12 when she passed away. So in a way, I still see myself as lucky that I got to spend 17 years of my life with her, whereas some people lose their parents when they're like 2 or 3 and they don't actually have any memories of her, whereas I've got really active memories of my mum and like all the fun times we had together and all the silly things we used to do, because my mum was such a joker. Like, she was literally like a carbon copy of me, not very serious, but like not very serious in everyday things, but like when it got down to nitty gritty, she was like straight to the point, very strict, that sort of thing. But really, like, you could go to have any problems, just sit you down, like break apart the problem, and you'd come out with your mind blown, like, wow, why didn't I think of this? And she'll be like, because, you know, that's what I'm here for. So like, it's really good, I think, to look back on all the good memories and the great things you did together with that lost, like the person that's passed away, because yeah, then it's like I kind of see it as I'm lucky I got to spend all that ooh, I'm waffling. I see it as I'm lucky I got to spend all that time with her, and I can look back on all those memories and smile as I'm smiling now. And like, as I said to like my friends who have lost people, it does get easier over time. And one thing I will say, no one can tell you how to grieve. You deal with it in your own way. And if that means, like, you know, just sitting by yourself and like thinking things through, or going to see like a counsellor or a therapist, like, everyone has different ways of dealing with things, and I'm a very firm believer of that. And like, obviously, like, you can take people's advice, but if you know what's right for you, you sort of follow your heart in how you deal with a situation. So me myself, I actually didn't take any counselling when my mum passed away, because I just wanted to, like, not deal with it myself, but, you know, just get my head around the whole thing. And I found that keeping myself busy really helped, because I wasn't thinking about it as much. So I like stuck myself in with like my cheer stuff, trying to like do really well in my exams and just all my extracurricular stuff, and I found that helped a lot. And your friends as well, like I cannot thank my friends enough through that hard time, because like, obviously they all knew what had happened, and they knew I didn't really want to speak about it as much when it like was still fresh. So maybe like the first 2 months after she passed away, it's not like I didn't want to speak about it that much because it was still quite fresh and it still hurt quite a lot. So they sort of like helped me keep my mind off it, just carried on like things were normal. Then as I became more comfortable talking about it, that's when they opened up and asked questions and whatnot, and I really appreciate them for that. And they all know who they are because they're probably all watching. And like now when people ask about it, I'm fine talking about it. Because people are always like, wow, you're so strong, blah, blah, all of that. And I'm like, but it is life. Like, you do lose people and it might not be what you want, but you do, like, you might see it as like, oh, why did they have to go now and whatnot. But everyone has their time sort of thing. And I like to like sort of open people up to what it's like and like, you know, how it's changed me as a person. As I said, obviously it's made me a lot more confident. I'm a lot more like, even though I was really out there before, I'm like really open to trying new things, like trying new things even more now, because I'm like, you know, life's too short. It sounds so cliche, but life is too short. My mum was only 52 when she passed away, and that's quite young. And obviously cancer does run in my family because all of my grandparents passed away with cancer, and it specifically runs in the female side of my family, where a load of them passed away at really young ages. So I'm sort of like, it's a bad way to think, but I'm like, you know, I should make the most of my life, you know, do everything that I enjoy, try to achieve and like persevere in everything I do, because life is short and you only have one chance. So, you know, you get on and do it. So those days where I'm like, I can't really be bothered to do this, I'm like, no, go and do it, girl, stop being silly. So that's like another thing that I see as positive in the whole situation. And obviously, like, I still have my dad. That's another thing as well. Those are people like, well, you lost your mum, like that must be so hard, what do you do? But I still have my dad. Like, he's really supportive. Yeah, so it's not like, even though it was like a hit, it's like one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through in my life. It's not the be all and end all, because I'm still here, I'm at uni, I'm in my second year, I'm really enjoying it. All my extracurriculars I'm still enjoying. Like, I'm genuinely really happy as a person right now, and all the things I learned from my mum passing away have helped to shape that happiness in a way. So like, even today I've gone, coached, whatever. My housemates have been super supportive as well. They're like, oh, if you need anything, we know this is a tough day for you, blah blah, whatever. But generally I feel not fine, but like, I'm just sitting looking back at like old pictures of my mum and like all the memories and stuff, and looking back through text message conversations and stuff, and I've just been smiling. Like, I don't cry over the situation, or like, I get emotional, but it's emotional in a happy way, because it's like I can sort of hear my mum saying like, what's the point of you crying, what's done is done, think of the good times, like all the positive things. Yeah, so that's just sort of my experience. As I said, like, I'll recap the tips I sort of said, like, deal with grieving in your own way. Like, obviously most people have different ways of grieving. If you feel like you need to see a counsellor, like, remember you're not alone. There are people there to support you. Be it if you're at uni, you can go to your mental health services, you've got your friends there, your family, because obviously it's a hard time for the rest of your family as well. So I really find like coming together as a family and sort of, you know, you can like sit down and talk about the good times you had with that said person, because that's what me and my family do a lot. Like, we'll see like an advert or like a meme or something, be like, that reminds us of mum, and we'll sit and talk about it, because that helps a lot, because it's like happy feelings and not thinking about the fact that they're gone, but you can think of all the great times you had together. And like, just knowing that you've got support mechanisms and there's people there that do care about you and will help you through this tough time. So yeah, as I said, I'm sorry I've been away for about a year, but I'll catch you guys up on all of that in next week's video. Excuse me looking hella bummy, but as I said, I've just come back from coaching, so you know, I'm not putting any makeup on and I'm staying in my sports clothes. This was a spur of the moment video, so yeah. I will say, like, there's loads of like websites and stuff that are really good for dealing with like bereavement and that sort of thing. And yeah, I will see you lovely people next week. Bye.